I think I made a mistake. I think I made a big mistake. Something just took over me in that moment. It was me, but it wasn't. It was just angry.
I was not expecting to go any further than what we had to get the lad and Miss Frank and get out and get back to the town. And now, who knows if there's not only bandits, what if there are other werewolves? I just had a feeling there was so much rain that moment in this night. I couldn't really tell with anything else. My senses were blocked, and my mind, stupid eyeball, scorn, thinking it's me. I don't even know if I should have given it a name, but that's besides the point.
I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I hurt those people. I don't know why I was going to torture him. But I think I'm slipping. The good parts of me are slipping and being slowly replaced with worse and worse parts. And I don't know why.
Even I tried to at least be fair with this other werewolf that seemed to be capable of some thought. Those baby booties. Could she have had her own family herself? And she was corrupted? I don't know, but yet she seemed so different than Natalia and Mudo. They were not really like how she was. I don't know. But then again, they didn't seem as corrupted as this woman either. I guess that's Innistrad for you. And when tragedy hits anyone really, or strikes a nerve. And something's not right here. Even though there are many times I've questioned as to whether or not this is still the real Lorelei. That was not normal. Not normal in the slightest, seeing those nightmarish forms and everything.
I'm losing the good parts of me, and I think it's because good people keep vanishing. The good parts of me are everyone else, and they keep vanishing. So without them, I'll probably just go completely evil. I hope none of them point it out. I don't know why it had to happen then. I thought they were just hallucinations to begin with. I thought I just had an overactive imagination. That I was just seeing things here and there, alone. But they actually affected other people this time. And I couldn't let them see it in that moment, but I'm terrified.
I wonder if ever since William had killed that one person, it didn't cause things to be worse. And it's like I'm almost in his footsteps. I even know it's unintended. But the dead comes back to haunt you, and you can never escape it. And now the Vistani known as Valerie, Val as he likes to be called, knows what I am, and I don't think I'll be able to return back to Silburn and have to get back on the road. The others likely, but I don't think I can enter back in the town. If I do, I'll have to be stealthy about it. Now, in we go into the poisonous pit that is that Deadeye.
Val, you had gone through the ritualistic method of the Vistani way to kind of detect poisons and diseases on Frank when he was unconscious. It's not exactly a channeling of magic, although it is reminiscent of a spell. Very fortunately, you knew a method that didn't require any kind of verbal component. Quite like that, it's a little bit more druidic in a sense, the way the Vistani had taught you growing up. And when your senses kind of opened to the poison that was coursing through Frank's system, which was then purged by Lorelei, it took a moment as everyone seemed to shift focus on this other individual and getting information from him while you packed everything up to get Frank back to Silburn, as well as yourself not wanting to stick around in this near bloodbath on the roads again. But as you're beginning to take the horse by the reins, one hand clutching them tightly, shaking a bit, something hits your nose. Something that's not in the air exactly, or maybe it is, but only something with a heightened senses, something like a bloodhound should be able to smell. It's like walking into a dense fog that you can smell, if you've ever done that. Gone into like a really intense mist cloud, and you're like, oh, it actually, you can kind of smell it. It's so pervasive, and it smells like mist and cloud and rot, very vaguely, as you turn, and the source of it seems to be coming off of Cillian.
Kind of looks. I assume they're still like standing around the one guy, like talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. He would try to kind of zone in on that, kind of try to see if he can determine more to this weird, whatever this is.
From a distance, it's really difficult, and it's not like anything you've ever encountered before, even with the various people who come through with diseases that you've assisted.
You like what you're looking at, Val?
As Cillian says that Val has this, even though this like meant as a joke, quite obviously he seems shaken up, but he wordlessly moves over, kind of looking at you, kind of trying to see if he can now a little bit closer discern anything.
It's like a disease, but not quite. It's something different. You've experienced infections, gangrene in wounds. This is something you're gonna have to make an Arcana check for.
Let's see, Arcana.
The closest you can guess is it might be something like a curse, but not quite. It's somewhere between a curse, a disease. It's very perplexing as it's hitting your senses.
Does it seem to originate somewhere specific, like on the body, or is it coming like everywhere?
I mean, you don't really see it, you smell it, so it's, and from a distance, it's kind of doesn't feel super specific.
Okay. Looks at Cillian before kind of reaching out, almost absent-mindedly, to kind of check a pulse, kind of see if he can notice anything wrong. Yeah, and he's looking very intently and with this look of confusion at Cillian.
Can I sort of guess that he's intuiting something, or does this just look weird?
Make an insight check. It's still pouring rain. It's the dark of night. There's very little light around all of you right now.
Mhm.
I think Lorelei had put a light on a stone or something. You're familiar with some Vistani customs, but this doesn't feel like any of them per se. You've got this white-haired man just drenched, covering one side of his face, which is scarred up. You can see kind of through the stringy hair one of his eyes obviously very torn up and milk white blind, while the other one is just staring at you almost unblinkingly as he reaches out. It's disconcerting, to say the least.
Yeah, you're scaring me. Val, is there something I can do? The same person I was just 10 minutes ago, yeah? I'm not the one that spawns things.
And he kind of turns around without saying anything and just kind of with an accelerated gait kind of moves back over to the horse and Frank, kind of looking back at Cillian, and there's this very visible look of worry and concern on his face before he eventually kind of holds him up as best as he can, and then leaves with Frank unless anybody's stopping him.
Turn towards the rest of the group, and I say, I have a lot of different effects on people, but that's a first.
And
Are you
Rita
guys seeing
and
anything?
Acrio in the process of butchering a horse on the mountainside while you've got a naked werewolf corpse turned back into a human nearby, as well
I think
as
Amrita covered it up and tried to bury it though before.
you had covered it, but there was no way of burying it on this mountainside because it's too rocky. But I think she had made plans to do something with it.
Do you want to touch your face?
I mean, you can.
Just gonna poke his cheek, like,
As she gets really close with her finger and touch it, I scare her.
just simply she'll be like, eek!
Just fucking dies of a heart attack.
Falls over like a fainting goat.
No,
Like-
I'm alright. No idea what that was.
Well, alright then. I hope it's okay.
I'm gonna look up from like all the blood on my armor, look up at Asuriel, and I'm gonna like tap my eye and tell her that she does have something for looking at people. If there is something wrong with him, if the doctor's not just going crazy.
Oh, right. Something up with Cillian's gonna take that little stone circle thing
Stone.
and yeah, she's gonna take a look at him.
Okay. Focusing in on the magic on this stone, holding it up to your eye, you feel like this burning sensation, similar to what you had the first time. Your eye starts to water, although it's kind of blocked out by the rain because you're completely drenched anyway. Hood up so your face not so much, but yeah, Cillian, you can see water, start to pour down her eye as she's staring. Asuriel, you see a lot of things, none of which are incredibly specific. Firstly, there are a handful of geists moving in and out of the ethereal plane in the proximity of Cillian. I think maybe for the first time you actually see Reigen, the one that he seems to speak to the most. Younger, you would guess maybe early 20s, possibly even late teenager. He has a bit of facial hair when he was alive. Looks similar to Cillian, obviously same ethnicity. All of these guys slowly start to look in your direction, becoming aware that you are aware of them.
I would stop that right now.
Oh no.
Listen, you haven't got my years of experience. Leave them alone now.
Okay. Just gonna kind of look away because I don't think she can just cancel this out.
You can certainly try. However, as you do, make a perception check.
Ooh.
Dear. Sammy say throw up 9.
Yeah, just before you turn away, you catch the geist of this Reigen fellow kind of turning away from you, turning back, He just winks.
She's just very confused. I think it's happened again.
Vistani men.
Something. She has an effect on Vistani.
Yes.
You see Cillian kind of thinking about something and then deciding to stay quiet for once. Right, so moving on from that. I'm alright, definitely. Just don't. What are we doing after we've butchered an animal?
Yeah, I pack up the horse into like leather packs and put it on my back.
The tattooed man you have tied up is brought to his feet after this perplexing and enlightening conversation with Lorelei.
Don't call it that.
I can show you where we're all based. You talk to Deadeye. Just don't do anything stupid, all right?
How many of you are there?
More than you.
We can take more than one-on-one.
I'd rather not see this come to any kind of violence. Look, you got what you wanted out of this. I don't know what else.
I ain't done yet till I have my property back.
Your
Decision
fucking
making.
first language is violence. Huh? You do nothing else. You don't get to decide about what's good right now.
Ours is
Although-
survival. We do what we've got to.
There are many ways to survive. We've proven it. We try to help everyone we come across, not take their shit. Stuff they need to live.
Sounds like a luxury to me.
He did help us out of the gutter when we got stuck.
And they robbed us for everything we're good for.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
what we're gonna do, as you guys are led, is
I know where this is going. Uh-oh.
this skill trial.
Oh.
Hello there, old map.
Mhm.
Hello, old
there.
friend.
Old friend, it's been a while.
So for the first bit, it is going to be the approach. How are you guys trying to approach this situation? The rest of the bitter hearts, are you trying to soften up this guy anymore, rough him up, stuff like that, kind of apply any leverage on him and your approach to the furthering situation? If you want to try to hide, if you want to go in guns blazing, you don't even know what guns are.
I invent a gun just to go in guns blazing. I am Gideon. now.
Hammers blazing.
Arrows
Acrio is
blazing.
Gideon. Pum, pum, pum.
Bum bum bum. I am starting with a good old persuasion check.
And what exactly are you trying to
Get our
Get out
foot
of
in the
that.
door without them immediately shooting us. Like, hi, how's it going? We're not here to eradicate your existence.
So you want to try to convince this guy to
Give us
kind
an
of
audience.
announce your presence, and have someone approach without it being like
A bloodbath.
a brawl.
Yeah.
Okay. He will acquiesce to that, as he said he didn't want things to come to unnecessary violence,
Yeah.
not at their abode.
I want to, through deception, basically like on the way talking to this guy, almost making him think he won't think I'm his friend, but like that way of talking, like getting information out of him without him even necessarily realizing he's giving away. And I want to try and get the layout of whatever camp this is as in as much detail as possible.
Okay.
You know, which way to approach, who are the most dangerous individuals, those kind of things.
Gotcha. Because you had kind of been like, you guys are the assholes in this situation, but if you kind of then turn that around and be like, okay, no, I kind of do understand where you guys are coming from. It's X, Y, and Z. This tattooed man, not much older than you, he will reveal his name is Zed. you do kind of get him talking as he's leading you guys up this mountainous path. It's not super far until the silhouette of some kind of house comes into view. And it appears as though he drops enough hints that they've taken up residence in this kind of abandoned old manor house from who knows what bygone age.
Amrita will go.
Alrighty.
She will investigate the closer they get to this house to make sure there are no traps that they may run into outside.
Amrita, you find that there are definitely traps set up outside. There are signs of fairly well-concealed pit traps, trees that have been rigged to, with branches pulled back to kind of snap back and make a rather loud noise if anything were to trigger them, different things like that, mostly alarms, but there are definitely traps and you can kind of spot them, point them out. This guy, Zed, doesn't lead you toward any of them, actually around a good few of them, but you do know that this place has been fortified.
She'll kind of motion with her arm a couple of times too for the people that might be in the back, or however the party is set up in this arrangement, kind of close together, and keeping an eye out for the traps that this Zed guy could have forgotten about or had no idea or thought of bringing up.
I would also like to investigate, but for a different reason. I just want to investigate on him to see if he has any like concealed weapons. But specifically anything that I might have recognized from Acrio's weapon thing.
Okay, you guys did strip him pretty good of weaponry when he was tied up.
I just want to make
sure. For things like that. Yeah.
It's just like a double check, like just in case. Because she's not good at it. She's just like, I'm helping. Oh, that just makes it.
Yeah. Not great at it, but sufficient enough to think you did get everything obviously lethal.
Yeah.
You're not sure because the one Frank had this poison in his system. You're not sure how that was delivered. You don't think there's anything on him that could do that. And as he said, which you determined to be true, he was not carrying any of the weapons that they had gotten from Acrio in the exchange on the road the few nights past.
Asuriel will do an insight check on this guy to make sure he's not leading us into a trap or anything.
Poor man, just trying to live his life, and we're like,
there's no way.
I mean, whatever life that these people have. Asuriel, it doesn't sound like he was lying when he said he didn't want things to come to bloodshed, where the rest of his people were making their life such as it is. However, he definitely has a demeanor of, if things go sideways, he thinks he'll be fine and you guys are probably all dead.
Interesting.
As you all approach this old stone manor house, Zed gives this whistle, which is repeated, kind of this bird call sound in different trees around you. Amrita, you start to see the eyes that were upon you. You had just started to notice them behind some of the traps, and the scouts and lookouts for this place, all humans as far as you can tell. And from this old house, there's several campfires around it, and a group of men and women on horseback, or mount up on horseback and begin to approach, at the head of which is this long-haired, one-eyed individual you had met the other night. They called Deadeye. Zed gives a brief explanation of everything. Deadeye says, "We've been expecting this group since the others returned. I'm glad you're right, Zed. What do y'all want?"
now that I actually have to think about a response, it'll take me a hot second. Yeah, I'll move into to red for intimidation, kind of squeezing my presence rather than being, "Oh hi, how's it going?" to fill the stern Cathar role. Well, first, how's it going? Lovely day outside. Look up at the rainy ass sky. Got a lot of my weapons, and I'm gonna need them back. But I also heard that you've got a bit of a deal with Silburn. I need to know what's going on with that, and who you're talking to.
A couple of the individuals on horseback lean over to Deadeye, kind of whispering, and you catch frantic noises. Specifically, you catch, the church, Cathars, that sort of thing, in a way that it sounds like we don't want to mess with this. We don't want all of this coming down on us. However, Deadeye himself keeps a steady jaw.
Okay, so Cillian knows that he's probably of more use talking to these people, but he's also a little bitch and definitely sees this as a big opportunity to end early. So he's gonna approach very stealthily and make sure he's not seen and make himself useful that way.
Yeah. During the approach, Zed lost track of you. He had been talking and then like mid-sentence looked around and everyone else was there, but you're not, which makes him a little bit uneasy.
Sure. And I kind of want to, if it's a pretty high roll, want to go into the house.
There are a lot of people. You can get close
exactly.
enough
That's why I'm asking.
to realize, oh shit, there's a lot of people in here, and I will say there's not a lot of light, so you can potentially find out more information in the future.
Sure.
You're close to the house, but not quite able to get in it just yet.
All right, I have communicated this with the group
Via Geist.
Yeah. So Lorelei might get a jump if she hears the ghostly voice, but
Fuck. Stop!
I'm gonna say Rygan takes the message to Asuriel.
yeah, sure.
Bane of
You
Vistani,
see
man.
him coming.
How long does that last? I think it's 1 or 10 minutes, something like that. It probably would have worn off by now. However, this is just a side note. Anyone who would glance over at Asuriel would see that the eye that she had used to look through that stone is very bloodshot. Like she was doing weed just on this side of her head.
Oh, that one-sided weed. You gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, it's a good strain.
Does it either smell like Deadeye has poison on his person, or look like there are any nearby plants that look poisonous that he has probably been using in his traps or methods? Like, is there any of that indication similar to what maybe Frank had on his person? Or probably not on Frank's person, but just in general, anything poison.
Just enough. You don't see it, but you do smell it. There is some kind of poison. However, it doesn't appear to be floral based. It's a snake venom. And there might be some vials, possibly, you're not sure. All of these Bitterhearts wear fairly loose clothing and it is wet, so it's kind of difficult to tell what they might have on them. The only specific you can get as you kind of focus your nostrils in is both of these small hatchets attached to the sides of his saddle, Deadeye's, do seem to be coated in a snake venom.
Noted.
I know it's pretty dark, but I just want to see if I can possibly pick out like anyone who's pulling a reverse Cillian and is like sneaking, like hiding behind a tree or something, ready to like pounce on us. Just not like looking around too predatorily, but just making sure that my group is safe.
Kind of letting Acrio take the lead in the talking.
Yeah. He's
kind
the
of
he's the
shrinking
Cathar,
back
he's
from
got
that
the...
role that you had scared
Yeah,
yourself with.
Yeah, I was a little embarrassed about that. It's just like, I'm gonna protect the group now and pretend that didn't happen.
There are definitely people moving out of this manor house kind of one by one. Most of them don't appear to be armed. You see from the windows, especially in the upper floor, flickering candlelight and small sets of eyes peering up over the windowsills, trying to see what's going on, as well as the scouts that had witnessed your approach. You notice they're a little bit closer than they had been.
Keep an eye on them specifically.
Cyril's gonna attempt a persuasion check to try and get them to reveal. She's a little more interested in what they're doing with these people and who they're giving them to than the weapons. So she's trying to nudge him a little bit on that, trying to get some sympathy, do a persuasion check, do that.
Reach out to any Vistani in the audience.
Zed did not have great things to say about the Vistani. Following up, what sort of thing would she have to say?
Make them sympathize with whoever they're kidnapping, because there's something strange going on in the town, and she's pretty scared that a lot of people are getting hurt.
So, as that is all gone down, Deadeye taking counsel from the figures around him, people starting to come out of the manor house. Cillian, you start to see, mostly within the windows, women and children, older people, kind of huddled around fires, and they kind of built the fireplace up. It is smoking a little bit out of the chimney. People wringing their hands trying to get warm in this old stone structure with the rain pouring down on it. Deadeye looks to the Cathar. We don't want any trouble from the church, but I wouldn't hesitate to return those weapons directly back to your gut. If you try anything, you can have them all. That said, enough blood's been spilt, I should think. That was never our way of things. This town is cursed. Maybe worse than Gulst. And you all know what happened there, I hope. There is something very strange about Silburn. We just want to survive. I gotta look out for my own. If that means picking off a wayward soul now and then, so be it. But it's not what I ever signed up for. He seems sympathetic to what you're saying, but at the same time more determined to help his people than you right now, is how I would describe his demeanor. At the same time, Cillian, near the house you start to hear someone, sounds like a woman's voice, say, Zed, no, they've got Zed! And several people grab this woman as she tries to rush out of the house, but they hold her back.
Alright, I will be looking at their way of living, because I've lived in a shitty rock fort for a lot of my life by myself. I would like to think I know living conditions, so I will be rolling a survival check.
Okay.
What's the general living condition of these people? Like the civilians that appear to be unarmed behind them, how well they're armored, how well fed they look.
Relatively well fed. In as you're observing that, I think Deadeye probably would explain, in exchange for no one coming out this way, everybody we turn over, we're paid. 1 bushel of corn and another bag ground, plus a box of jerky, cow meat. They seem to have plenty of it. It's all we want. It's all we need out of the deal. You don't see many people who are armored. You do catch sight of several who do carry the weapons that you had turned over in the agreement. Most of them seem some of them seem a bit clumsy with them. You can tell there are definitely some who've practiced, but there are others carrying them in a way that's like out of necessity rather than. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as other living conditions, it's like you can tell this has been recently converted, and this place is not designed to accommodate this many people, and you can't even tell how many are there, but just the number that are outside in front of you is a couple dozen.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many scouts they have out, and yeah, for sure.
As much as I'd like to hand those weapons back over to Silburn, they're the church's weapons, and they're meant for people that need them. As much as I prefer them to reach their destination, there's something very, very wrong with Silburn, and I don't think those weapons should be going there. So you keep them. But
the
there's
eyebrow over Deadeye's dead eye goes up.
But I need help with whatever's going on with Silburn, and you barricading the roads is not helping. We gotta know who talked to you, who orchestrated this, who are you handing the bodies over to?
Okay, so that for a wrench and everything.
Sorry.
After no, not you, but what he said. After seeing the family, there's nothing Cillian would do except talking to these people. Okay, fucking, I'll try investigation on him. Mostly for himself to figure out, like you said, women and children, how big is this family? And how, because he heard the woman, like how collectively scared do they seem?
Sure.
Do they seem to like
that's a little
behind
more
them?
Insight, but yeah, I'll
that makes sense.
Kind of as a reaction, or the way that they are reacting.
Sure.
I was afraid of that.
Interesting. You want to go ahead and roll a d4?
Yeah. Oh, fuck me.
What's happening?
That's not. Oh, fuck. That's the bad one.
What's happening?
So, as you're attempting to get a read on the number of people here and trying to figure out, are they as hostile as they seemed when we first met them? What's really going on? As you're circling around this house, there is something in one of the windows, a lingering presence. You think, but you don't really see it. It's not like when you see a geist around you. You see people, this is the dead of night, so many of them are asleep. There is something radiating off of the sleepers. Something generational and something very dark, and it freaks you out.
Right, you just hear Cillian. He definitely just immediately reveals his location, not thinking about anything else at that moment. And you hear just, where am I situated? Like, can Deadeye see me if I reveal myself, or am I like behind the house?
That's up to you. I'll allow you to decide that.
No, I think it makes the most sense if I just, you see Cillian just suddenly stand up, stumble into the entire group. There's something in there. There's something in there. Please don't go. We need to go right now. Please. Fuck, don't. And he just crumbles and cowers in fear, like genuine fear.
The horses start to rear in shock from you stumbling up behind them. The riders have to kind of like keep control of the reins. Everybody starts talking back and forth about where he came from and everything like that. And also, like, what is he talking about? They seemed as confused as the party.
I look up at Deadeye and say, please, you can't keep your family here. They're not safe here. You need to go. You need to go, please.
Yeah, so, Amrita.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
I love it when that happens because it makes everything
me
so
too.
dramatic.
Quiet on you. But yeah, seeing this reaction out of nowhere and just like, fuck. But she will turn to Deadeye and everything. You know, a Cathar like him is pretty well forgiving for something like that. And considering what had also happened, you guys again started it first when you attacked someone else we knew. They were bleeding, almost dead before they even made it to Silburn. A woman. And then tried to kidnap that boy. As you said, there's been too much bloodshed. But I suggest that if this place is as damned as it is in Gauls, do you really want to stay here and make a living? Or would you rather die and have your souls trapped here? Either way, we either get out of here and make peaceful arrangements, or more bloodshed will happen, and I don't think anyone here wants that. Not the women and children that you have, or anything.
Yep, go ahead.
You need to go, you need to leave.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think you want to mess with a bunch of people who just took down not only several other men, and summoned who knows whatever hellish from the depths, but also killed the werewolf on top of that. How stupid would you be?
What's in there, please?
Shit.
Deadeye looks from Acrio's question to Cillian having a breakdown to Amrita. You killed the werewolf. She was becoming a problem. Can't say I don't appreciate that. Those types are not quite right in the head. They're not human anymore. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to want to necessarily back down, although he is very concerned with what Cillian's talking about.
Does the eyebite react at any point in this moment while Amrita just feels herself clicking her tongue?
You mean the third eye?
Yeah.
Not really. It's not particularly interested in all of this.
Not yet.
I'm just gonna pray that the Cathar has this negotiation in the bag, because I'm gonna turn to Cillian and try and snap him the fuck out of it. I'm gonna try and just like ground him, just like kneel down in front of him and just like shake him by the shoulders, like, fucking get with it! Get with the program! Snap out of it! You can freak out about this later! We don't have time! I'm just gonna try and persuade him. Just forcibly. No!
Cillian, what you had seen, or not seen exactly, but kind of felt, the closest visual manifestation you would recognize was the same thing Lorelei had been doing only less than an hour ago, in almost manifesting a nightmare. And her attempts to calm you do not work, because it is it's like throwing fire on fire.
Wrong person.
You
for the job.
see a venom in Cillian's eyes that is only familiar to Amrita. And he just whispers to you, "It comes from you. Leave them."
And
that's
Lorelei
everything.
Lorelei freezes.
Jesus Christ!
Bro.
What the
What's
fuck?
his
Chase
Suriel's
locations. I'll be
doing
right back.
as all of that's going down.
Well, seeing Cillian freak out, seeing that there's something in the house, I'm hesitating between Arcana investigation check.
I mean, you're not anywhere really near the house. He had snuck up to it, so without more information, I'm not sure how you would get anything from that.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can tell Deadeye and the rest don't seem to understand what Cillian's talking about. Like they They don't seem to have noticed there was anything wrong with the house so far.
Could she try and do a history check on this house?
Sure.
Okay, let's see how that goes. I think.
Or at
we'll
least
do.
a history check related to the Bitter Hearts, even potentially, depending on how you roll.
That is just a miss. God damn it.
Yeah, unfortunately, your memories, don't exist. Even the subconscious feelings that you've gotten about things that you should know but can't quite access. Nothing's coming up except an uneasy sense.
Yeah, she starts to look a little bit nervous too. Then.
Before this round, Val, as you're leading Frank back down this path, he actually seems to be fairly aware of the terrain, especially once you get back to the road. He kind of gets his bearings. He was unconscious for part of it, but starts to recognize things and grabs your the sleeve that's tied up on your non-existent arm and tugs it a bit. Hey, I think that's where a male hit the cart.
It's kind of like sort of sunken into thought, like trying to process and sort this out for himself. But as he's kind of like tucked on the sleeve, he snaps out of it slowly, just blinking.
She didn't want him to get anything of our supplies, so she pulled it off. I think it was right over that way.
Kind of gesturing for Frank to kind of lead the way, seeing as we do have 2 horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're both riding
Okay.
individually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll go that way and say, I know they did you know about her? Is that gonna be a problem?
Kind of pulls out the piece of paper as he starts to write. She hasn't killed us yet. Let's keep quiet for now.
It's very smudgy in the rain. The ink doesn't like to sit very well, and the paper starts to kind of deteriorate almost toward the end. And Frank has some trouble reading it because he's not incredibly well read. Did you know about? Do you talk at all?
Val is looking down, and then kind of revealing more of the extremely mangled throat as he kind of just tries to speak, just this choked sound coming out.
Frank recoils a bit. Oh, sorry, werewolf? Vampire? Well, whatever it was, sorry, I shouldn't. Here, if we can hook up one of these horses to the cart, I think we could pull it back. Get it to town before anything else out here.
He needs a moment to kind of shake off any intruding thoughts, but then probably helps as best as he can with one hand to kind of hook up the horses.
Frank's still a little wobbly from the poison. Once he gets down onto his feet, hits him a little bit harder than he had thought, strength having been sapped from him. But yeah, he helps kind of tether one of the horses to the bars on the front of the wagon. I should say thanks, by the way. I wasn't sure what they were going to do, and then I went black, and then you and the rest of them. I've seen them back in Korsova, but I don't think I've seen you before. What? Was it Val? I thought I heard him say. Was that your name? Oh, thanks, Val.
of just reaches up to kind of just put a hand on his shoulder for a moment and just kind of give it a gentle squeeze for a moment to kind of reassure him. Kind of nodding.
You know somewhere we can stay in town? Are we gonna be able to get back in there? Right. I want to get out of this storm. Who knows what are out on these roads? You can see he's very uncomfortable with being outside of a city.
Yeah, especially at fucking night. Jesus. If we can, is the cart? Does it appear to be just parked off to the side, so to speak, or does it seem like with the rain and everything that it's actually like sort of stuck?
It was parked off into kind of like a rocky area, but it definitely is going to take some effort to get it out. It didn't like tumble over anything, but it is kind of, it's set for a bit. So you guys are going to have to pull on it for a while, potentially.
Yeah, then Val kind of gestures for Frank to kind of sit on the bench for the driver before he kind of goes around and kind of tries to push the cart kind of from behind while Frank is like dealing with the horses.
Lashing the horse forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as that is going on, back at the Bitterheart hideout, Acrio, you're up.
Did they have anything to say about going crazy and everything?
They reacted somewhat to Cillian going crazy, but they didn't seem to understand what he was talking about.
Got it. Any response to Acrio's here, keep the weapons, but we need to know what's going on here?
Potentially, but it was distracted by Cillian.
Yeah.
He may circle back to that.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that as Cillian goes crazy. How mad does Cillian look like right now? Not mad, like mad.
But by now, probably, you already see him like calming down a bit.
Yeah,
okay, so
it didn't last long, but it was like a spike and then it tapered off. Unfortunately, Lorelei was not able to help with that.
If anything, I think I made it worse.
Okay, I'm on blue and red. Okay, no, I got it. Mason's tool check with my intelligence, because I have to use intelligence. I can't use wisdom for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so kind. And I'm going to pitch the idea that maybe they should move, and if they help us, then I can help them find somewhere better to live that'll accommodate them all.
Okay.
As a man of the forge, I'm obliged to help people.
Proficient with house building.
Yeah, house building. House building check. Right.
Deadeye still a little bit concerned with what Cillian was saying, seemingly contemplating if this place might be haunted. You don't understand our ways. We don't settle. We don't wander like Vistani. We don't have anything except what we take. We don't build. None of us have the skill. Appreciate the offer, I guess, but it's not gonna stick. We don't have craftsmen. We don't have planters. We don't have fields to harvest. We ain't got livestock.
You never had somebody to teach you.
Okay. So you see Cillian has stopped the incessant screaming. But he does still kind of push away from Lorelei and make sure he's away from that. And you see him first as his back to Deadeye, not really caring if he gets shot or not, which is pretty out of character. And then turn back. I'm hard to explain, so I won't. And you see him meeting his gaze with like effort, and he's kind of jumpy from the things around him still. Sure not? And I'm sorry that I didn't listen before. I'm sorry that I didn't see. You're taking care of your own. The ways of which were maybe. It doesn't matter. You're trying to provide. And no one better than me understands trying to provide for your family. But I do think there's an opportunity here. For both of us. My rambling just now, the ground here feels wrong. And I think you won't survive here long. You said you were driven out. What if we try to take it back? And just insight to see how he responds to that, if he's open to collaborating.
Oh yeah, because Elder wanted help rebuilding Ghost. It's one place to send him.
He would reply, closing his eyes momentarily. There's a sigh. Folk don't see us. Most don't want to. There's no taking back what we had. Nestri's gone. What the flames of the Ashmouth didn't take, the Farbog consumed. A couple decades later, it's gone. I'm not saying we don't want to. Kind of glances over at Acrio. But it's not such an easy choice as you make it sound. And yeah, you would gauge that he's more concerned with his family and his community and their immediate survival than any kind of like long-term plans is the best that you could probably gauge.
Is Zed still standing with us, or did he walk back over with them?
No, you still, unless you want to release him, he's still with you.
Can she grab him, I guess, and like move him there to go to the house, maybe?
I'll allow you to try to foist him onto your shoulder and walk him up to the house, sure.
Okay.
With an athletics situation.
Alright, that's the best I can do.
Okay.
Man, there's no winning here.
We started so strong and we completely plummeted.
Biffed it.
Okay, so I will say, yeah, you can kind of grab him, and it ends up more like a shoving him back, kind of at the group's feet, the riders on horseback. What it intended to be like a kind gesture seemed a little more aggressive than you intended it, and puts them a little bit back on edge. You've got a lot of voices in your head right now, so yeah, it doesn't seem to help the situation, but he is back with them kind of now, unfortunately.
Heavy weight. He just feels heavy in that moment. I feel like she stumbles when she goes to like drop him and is trying to be kind, but it's a stumbling motion from
Sure.
the weight of this person.
He falls forward and shouts a bit as he hits the ground, and yeah, it seems more aggressive than was intended.
I swear that was an accident.
A lot of accidents happen to us. Bitter hearts, I guess.
Yeah, she'll stand up looking a bit distant, and her mind is just trying to push out what the fuck Cillian just said to her and instead focus on the fact that, she's in a tense situation with people that she cares about. So she's going to kind of turn to Deadeye, and while monitoring his demeanor, try and just close this deal, because it seems like we're not getting anywhere. So she's just going to try and sort of acquiesce to what he wants. Whereas like, and she's like, you know, the Cathar said you can keep the weapons. We've given you your person. Can you just give us the answers that we needed about Silburn? If not, we'll leave. Like, she's kind of almost like, not quite like kowtowing to him, but just like very much like, just to kind of read how he's responding to what she's saying and then like kind of change her path to be more favorable to him.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, he will look down at Zed at the ground and back up to you, and we'll get to his reply after Asuriel.
I'm just gonna kind of look around. This probably isn't the greatest place to live in. All kind of cramped. Dead forest, very damp. Just gonna ask if there's anyone that's sick and if she would be able to help them and try to make a medicine check with that. Yes.
You can definitely see that there are several of the individuals that look a bit unwell. Some of them are fairly pale, sunken eyes. You hear some coughs and that sort of thing from inside the manor house itself. There is definitely some people who are sick. It doesn't seem as though there's like a huge outbreak per se. However, when you make that offer, Deadeye's taken back somewhat, looking between you and then Lorelei. Lorelei, you get the impression that nobody's really ever offered to help his people before, and that's the biggest thing coming through his mind at the moment. We don't usually associate with outsiders. I mean, I guess if you can have people come out here if you have some kind of medical training, but I'm not letting you inside. What do you want to know about this town? I can't tell you much. Never been there, obviously. What is it you're really getting at? Speaking more to Lorelei and Acrio.
Constitution check, because I know I've gained fat from being there. Somebody pointed that out. So I'll do that to kind of pry into the whole cow, beef jerky, that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Farmers, all the weird fucky stuff that's going on. So I will try that. That's enough, right? Yes. Okay,
Yep.
Thank God.
Are you trying to learn something about it, or what exactly are you? Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. You don't observe any of the effects of the people around you have had since entering Silburn, or the people in Silburn. Just judging by your own physical reaction and the way you've seen other people react, these bitter hearts don't really show any of that.
And they got corn and beef jerky products. They didn't get milk products from them.
Correct.
Got it. If you ever seen a Silburn person, they are particularly slow and particularly fat. Obviously, that's a happening here. People don't really get fat in Stenzia unless you are very particularly rich. I want to know if you knew anything about that.
We see some of the Cathars out on the roads. Some of the ranchers. Can't say as I noticed too much about it. City folk always seem a little more healthy. But Asuriel, you can attempt one more.
Murder.
Yes.
Spell
At
attack.
this point, fireball.
It will
Acrobatics.
determine how much information he's willing to give you if only 3 of the party are able to reach the goal. So, shoot for the stars.
Our persuasion was my highest stat, so next one is nature. So can I determine how healthy would this land be for agriculture?
In the immediate vicinity or down near Silburn?
In the vicinity.
Okay, sure.
Yay.
Yeah, so you can explain to them if they were ever to try to cultivate a living, they would not be able to do so up here. This mountainside is somewhat overgrown, but it's all weeds, mostly inedible plants, unless you enjoy munching on grass. But the likelihood of being able to grow crops up here where they're currently stationed is basically non-existent. So if you want to try to use that to insinuate they move on, that's up to you.
You should maybe try and explain some agricultural methods if she knows any.
You have
Tell them what to
some,
look for in healthy land.
yeah,
I don't know
Vague
why I
idea.
know this, but I do.
yeah. It comes out like an almanac almost, which is surprising to everybody. Like, when did she become a farmer?
Like when you know the lyrics to a song and you have no idea why.
Right.
Like, how?
What?
Some of the others, you would see the people with Deadeye. Some of them take interest, most of them kind of scoff, some of them roll their eyes, not really paying attention to this advice being given. The one guy kind of reaches down, pulls Zed to his feet, and cuts the ropes holding him. He looks at everyone in this group, not with vitriol necessarily, but obviously unpleased about what had happened to him. However, Deadeye will kind of loosen the reins on his horse somewhat. This little group you got, almost as messed up as we are. Fit right in, I think. In a way. Look, I appreciate returning Zed without killing him. Appreciate the offers. I'll say this for a deal. Keep the people of Silburn away from us. Stay out of our means of living. I swear you won't have any bodies going missing on the road on our account. There was someone approached us when we first moved on from Gulst after Reverax. Devil tore through it. I don't know who he works for. I don't know where he gets his grain. I don't know what kind of contacts he's got, but he's kept his word. You'll recognize him if he's down there around Silburn. Got a missing tooth and one of his fingers on his left hand's cut off.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
4 fingers on his left hand. I don't know his name. I don't know who he works for. Or excuse me, it was his right hand.
Yeah, I'll say in that moment she'll pull out the paper well, actually, no, she crumbled it up and didn't show the others, but she just gets a look of anger almost and stares. Looks like I'll have to hunt him down. I know who you speak. I've been trying to find that bastard for a long time.
Good luck, he's slippery, to say the least. If we got your word, he won't be up here anymore. And none of the church or any of the people from town disrupting us. We can find a way of getting our own grain from now on if it comes to that.
I want to speak for all of us. But I will, because that's who I am. We have an awful feeling about what's going on in Silburn. and I'm gonna try to stop it. Maybe afterwards there's a place for you.
Not likely.
I agree. It's not likely. But I'll try.
He nods, goes to pull his horse back, and the others start to retreat from you slowly, pulling back to the house. People up there whispering to each other. Maybe I was wrong. There might be a handful of good people left in the world. And then he turns about and heads back to the house.
Right. Let's leave. That was tenuous, and I kind of fucked it up. Sorry about that. Let's leave.
Kind of pat Cillian on the shoulder, which almost turns into like hitting him with the shield, but then I switch arms. And... Yeah,
What
let's
did you see anyway?
move on.
But you didn't really see anything. It was more like a feeling.
Let's talk about that away from these people, yeah?
Okay.
Lorelei just turns and starts leaving. Without
As
a
you
word.
do, Lorelei, someone catches your arm. And you turn Zed. His tattooed hand is kind of holding onto your cloak and your sleeve. And he leans into you. I don't know what you can do. Let the dreams beware. The squirming devil's still out there. He's in all our dreams. And then he returns to the rest of the bitter hearts.
Oh.
Lorelei turns around with this like very blank, like, oh, look on her face, just like, okay, and she just keeps on walking. It's a lot to process. And as we're walking back, wherever Cillian is in the group, Lorelei stays like at least like 20 paces away from him. Like wherever in the formation, she just is on the direct opposite.
Pissing off all the people.
I was gonna say Amrita and Lorelei
Yeah,
hanging out together.
Well,
Trying to
Lorelei
stay
even
away
she
from
keeps her
Cillian.
distance from Amrita as well. She's keeping a distance from everyone. Just like
Yeah,
if anyone
Amrita-
moves closer, she just like backs off.
I think they could tell that she's probably like fuming from what that guy had said, but like just continues to walk ahead of the group, leading them back to the town. But she's just absolutely fuming. Damned Fabian.
Asuriel is like first waiting for an explanation from Cillian, and once she gets that, she's gonna go back to Lorelei and is like, hey, what did you grab your arm for?
Pulls her arm away from Asuriel. Don't touch me, you might catch something.
What does that mean?
Refuses to elaborate. Keeps walking.
Cillian walks next to Asuriel. Without getting close to Lorelei, kind of feeling the situation. Oh, there's so much inkling to be dick right now, but he won't. He won't.
It's too soaking wet for that.
Yeah, exactly. We've been through too much recently. I'll leave it be, and I'll just say, do you know that moment in a fight, in any fight, where you realize you might die? Or will die? This awful certainty that this is the end.
Flashes back to that time the zombie jumped on her, and that time she got grabbed by Piers, and just every time she got
And the time a puma
surprised.
almost
Yeah, the
dragged her
puma.
off into the night.
Yeah, snack.
She's just like, her eyes go blank. It's like, yeah, I've been getting that the last few weeks.
One of which still looks awful, by the way. One of her eyes.
You've seen them. Just recently. Aren't they fucking lovely? Whoa. They're waiting for me. Sometimes, at awful points in time, every time, it cuts too much. There's stress, and there's nothing in my mind that I've built up. It's just that feeling. I don't even remember what I said. Lorelei seems... I did it to you as well, in the butcher shop.
I remember.
What did I say? Did you hear?
You said they had to get out of the house. That it had something to do with Lorelei?
Alright, fuck me. Try to close that wound in the city or something. Anyway, that's the most I can try to explain. It's a little more... It's more feeling than I can put into words. But I hope that helps.
Okay. So the ghosts, they're just always around you?
Mm-hmm.
Well...
Some of them are nice. I've spent every waking moment. I've never been alone. And sometimes, most of the time, that's relieving. Sometimes that's scary. Especially when they're swinging from branches and crawling up from the ground everywhere I look.
That does seem pretty scary. But at least some of them are nice, like you said. There's one that winked at me.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. He's been keeping me going the last couple of years.
Oh, it's only been a couple of years?
No, there's been a recent shift in trajectory. When I left my family, I learned things. I talked to them. Guys are specific. Again, it's more feeling than words. And I've learned to control that feeling. Harness it as either a weapon to protect myself or an arm to help. Because they need help.
Well, they've been very, very helpful, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Some of them.
And you'll know when the time comes. It goes for everyone, I'm pretty sure. You won't be alone. And I think that's a good thing to know.
I'll never be alone.
Yeah, you've got us. She can't pats him on the shoulder.
Yeah, and luckily for you, you got me, and I know how much your life has gotten better.
Well, I don't know how bad it was before.
Oh, right. You've only known me. Oh, what a life that must be.
Well, Acrio first, then you.
I mean, yeah, sure.
A little stupid.
As you're all making your way back down the mountainside, if Amrita has the presence of mind with her new focus to collect the body of the werewolf, she's able to do so if you want to do that. Meanwhile, Valerie, you're able to make it back into Silburn. It's still the dead of night. What is your plans? You know Emel is at the Brass Bell Saloon, and you also have a doll, I believe, and a spinning top that you have collected earlier in the day.
Yeah.
What is his plans?
He would first drop off Frank at the Brass Bell in order to make sure that the lad is with Mel again, that she knows that he's all right. Park the cart like front, I guess.
There's a
kind
stables that you know of.
Okay, okay.
However, there are hitching posts and that sort of thing. Amel will reach an arm around Frank when he's back. You know, she's well over a head taller than him, rather large woman. But yeah, in a somewhat motherly embrace. Although it's just one arm, you know, she keeps her distance a bit. But you can see she's definitely glad to see he's back.
Yeah.
She will thank you and say, "Where are the rest of them? They made it, right?"
Pulling out the good old sheet of paper, because now he's not in the rain. So,
He dries his hand off on something.
Kind of writing. They stayed behind to deal with the matter. They'll be back soon.
Yeah, good.
I
hope they
hope.
kill them all.
Yeah, Vala's not gonna comment on that. He just kind of puts away the paper and kind of nods as he. Okay, he did give Mel the address of the doctor before, I think. So you'll just kind of remind her to kind of seek him out, even if she's not feeling anything, like any pain right now, just to make sure that, you know,
I mean, she winces when she goes to embrace Frank. You can tell that she still does have a stab wound.
Okay.
So yeah. Yep. It's good advice.
And yeah, I assume he's probably, seeing as he patched up Cillian when he got fucking clobbered and shit. He's probably covered in some amount of blood.
Yeah, I mean it's washed through. It's kind of soaked into your clothing a little bit at this point. It's not splattered as much, but yeah, there's a small amount for sure of blood.
Is it like
kind of
is it like on the sleeves?
Sleeves and a few on his tunic, I guess. That's kind of just making a little bit of a brownish smudge now in the wetness.
He would like look at it, shivering. Does it seem like it will come out eventually, or?
I mean, you probably know how to clean blood out of things.
Okay.
Yeah, cold water and you can probably get it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then he's just gonna step out and get back to work, grab the doll and the spinning top, and head back to do some more digging.
It's not far from the Silvern Graph.
With the rain, obviously that slows him down, but as he kind of starts working and kind of at first he uses a shovel or some means to at least help him, and as he kind of does that it's really awkward, the slow process that he's
probably more like
used
a
to.
spade.
Yeah.
One-handed will, to dig the upper layer of ground off.
Yeah. And as he's kind of working, kind of everything that he experienced kind of fully hits him, as eventually he kind of starts shaking again, kind of having trouble controlling his breathing. So he eventually kind of just in this worked up state, unable to stop himself from crying, kind of starting to sob as he just starts this almost desperate manner, especially with these last two holes that he's got to dig, kind of starts to dig with his hands, just kind of tearing at the earth, kind of trying to somehow get the earth out of the holes.
As you're doing that, there's a sound like a deep scraping and almost like a sucking sound off in the distance.
Define distance.
Like 50 or 60 feet away.
Okay.
Within the actual graph.
That would probably kind of shake him up a little bit as he kind of tries to get his breathing back under control.
What kind? Does he take a light source out here, or is he doing this in pitch black, just with the light?
He would have like a small lantern of sorts that is like barely enough to like allow him to see what he's doing more or less, but there is not really much illumination beyond that. It's just very condensed sort of light.
Yeah, so as you look over toward the graph, there's this stone wall and a wooden fence in some areas. It's kind of all you can see where there was a certain size graph that had like the stacked stone wall, but it has since been expanded with a wooden fence, which is now kind of in a state of disrepair. But as you look, you can't see much from the distance you are. You still just hear this sound. It's very faint, but even through the rain, you can hear there's something going on, but you can't see it from your distance.
He would probably like stash away the doll and the spinning top for now, and kind of just grabbing the lantern, just draw closer to see what is going on.
Your hand covered in mud, as well as your knees, grab the handle of the lantern, getting closer. At first it doesn't seem like anything, but then your eye catches where the ground heaves up somewhat. The grass that is there starting to break.
Holy shit.
Nice.
So yeah, Val, how are you gonna react to all that?
Is it just like one mount that is like forming, or does he see like...
You can make a perception check.
Cool.
Hard to see because your lantern light doesn't carry very far. It was really the motion of it, that kind of heaving in the ground, that caught your eye. How much else like that might be disturbed in the graph, you'd have to look further and closer.
Okay. He would stay for a moment longer to see like if anything like emerges before he like takes any decisive actions.
As the lightning splits the sky behind you and there's this roll of thunder, you see like what looks at first like a worm, an exceptionally large worm, poke out of the ground, and then there's another, and this like cluster of wriggling worm-like tendrils up into the air that just motion for a moment and kind of retreat as one of the nearby gravestones then shifts and starts to tilt in the disturbed earth.
Okay, weird tentacles coming out of the ground. Yeah, he will. How far is there a garrison? Any point where Cathars like assemble or like?
That's the tower of Silburn, which is not actually located within the city limits. It's a good ways away.
Okay, so quite some distance. Okay.
I mean, you know where there is one Cathar staying. He might be new in town, but
oh god, what's the guy's name again?
It's Acrio Revito. Is his name.
Oh, okay. Well, Acrio's not here right now.
He's a bit new in town. Oh yeah, what's his name?
What's his name? That was great.
Hey, listen. I know that Acrio's new in town, but
The,
he's not available.
Yeah, the Parish Blade, who is kind of overseeing all the Cathars, Casper Lowe, does have a residence here in town as well.
Where's he?
in town. I don't have an address, but you know where
Ouch.
he lives.
Okay.
He's at
would it
424 Cathar Street.
Okay. Would it be within like a?
But there's also the priestess Renfort. Like the chapel is right near the graph.
Okay.
If you're going for the most immediate source of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Then he's freaking bolting it for the chapel, just kind of banging on the door, hoping that someone is there.
Yeah, it opens relatively quickly. The priestess being stationed there. You see her still in, not fully armored, but still in kind of these brownish beige church garb, symbols of Avacyn on her as she looks at you, looks past you, see if you're alone. What is it?
Kind of just pointing.
The graph. Is there something wrong with it?
Kind of just grabs her and kind of tries to pull her towards the graph so that she can see.
She will recoil somewhat from your grasp and knock your hand off. Yeah, seeing that you're not because you're filthy, but that is also an issue. Kind of not wanting to be manhandled in this moment. She'll go ahead and get her a scepter with the symbol of Avacyn on the end of it. Now, show me what you have seen.
Yeah, he's leading the way and kind of trying to show her any signs of,
Yeah, your light not be exceptionally bright. Illumination will appear at the end of her scepter, a brighter radiance. The graph is still. The grass is soft underfoot as she is led by you, observing everything. There's a small mausoleum, but as you can see better, Val, you start to notice it's like mole tracks in the ground. Ever seen where the ground like raises up in places and it's in tracks almost? But these are not the size of a mole. It's like several feet wide, this hump in the ground. Renfort seems to notice that as well. This is a problem. I won't ask what you are doing out here at this hour, because this is important. The angels have willed it, I think.
Moving over to the... I saw like one of the gravestones shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Slowly kind of drawing near that, kind of careful where to tread in order not, if there's like hollow ground or some shit, that he's not stepping on that.
As you approach, you start to feel a rumble under your feet. And earth being moved.
Does it seem to move into like a specific direction, or just generally under me there seems to be...
You can make a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be getting closer.
Val kind of realizing that it seems to draw towards them. His eyes go kind of wide and he turns around, kind of gesturing for the priestess to get out as he's trying to do the same.
This is wise. We need help. We need much help. Come. And yeah, she will rush out of the graph.
Okay. Yeah, that happened. Kind of looking at the priestess, just trying to see if she has any plan. Otherwise, Val would kind of gesture into the direction of the tower, kind of indicate that he would alarm the Cathars.
Unfortunately, I don't think we will get much help tonight. In the morning, I will speak with Casper.
Now he's pulling out a sheet of paper, scribbling like, what is happening? Isn't this urgent?
It may be, if it gets out of the graph.
Now, what is going on? What is...
I don't know. She just, like, watching you write words. I don't know.
Insight check.
Sure.
Hmm.
She definitely doesn't seem to be aware of what's happening. The best you can get is a reservation about how people tend to react to things in this town, which is sluggishly at best.
Okay. Lowering the lantern, slowly looking at her. Writing some more. Should I come back tomorrow morning then?
Is there something you wish to do about this?
He kind of looks at her before the next sentence is, I don't think I can do anything, since he is alone.
I will ask this of you, Mr. Vistani. Would you watch with me this night? I don't want this, whatever it is, to escape into the city. Avacyn bless you, child. And yeah, she will set up a watch at the edge of the graph. And you are welcome to watch with her, yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Seeing literally everybody about as far away from each other as possible, and me like just walking in the middle of this catastrophe.
Amrita with a naked woman's body slung over her shoulder. It is wrapped in a
Yeah.
blanket, but still.
Okay, I see something's wrong here, and before we get back into town, we're gonna have to talk about it, because we all got to be on the same page going into this cursed hellhole. There's something very wrong there, and people not being on the same page, somebody's gonna get hurt again. So what's going on here?
A lot of things, I think. I think most of it's my fault, as always. But I'm more than willing to talk. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Lorelei and Amrita, why don't you join us at the table so we can have a little bit of a friendly talk together.
I would like to get
Does
this body
Acrio-
buried first.
Does Acrio keep his helmet on or remove it for this? Or is he reserved and kind of disconnected?
No, I'll pull my helmet off and put it, like, tuck it under the shield arm.
Mm-hmm.
We
We're
can
all here.
stop. But first, if someone would please help me bury this body, we'll figure things out.
I will help you bury the body, Amrita, but try not to avoid the conversation.
Also, Acrio would know it's ill-advised to bury bodies outside of a graph because there's a much higher chance that it reanimates. It's still a small chance, like bodies just becoming zombies. There's maybe a 10% chance, but it's much
That is not a
lower in
low
graph.
chance. That is not a low chance.
We know it's not.
The bigger issue is if a ghoul caller were to stumble upon it, they have been known to collect.
As much as I'd prefer to help you bury the body out here, it's a human body now. It'll be safer in a graph.
Turns and just continues to stand, but will hold the body, looking at the others, seeing if they'll gather in a circle, but stand waiting.
Yeah, I'll wait for everybody, and then I'm
Yeah.
guessing Lorelei.
Lorelei
she
does
approach?
approach, but she's like staring at the floor.
Everybody's here. What's going on?
Yeah, right. So, I'm pretty pissed at Amrita for not saving you. And I think she's a fuckwad for trying to leave all the time.
Amrita, why are you always trying to leave? Scared of getting someone hurt?
That was my plan when I got here, to part ways. I had somewhere else to be, but now things have changed in that moment. And yeah, you want to know something, Cillian?
Gladly.
I've dealt with so much shit, and I'm tired of it. Honestly, between ghosts and undead. And I feel like the longer I stick around you lot, whether it's a curse probably with me, you'd be safer off without me.
Do you genuinely believe that, or have you convinced yourself of that? Because I think I know which it is. I fucking want you around, Amrita. I want you there when Acrio's about to die. I want you there when Lorelei needs someone. You might be fucking aloof and don't say much and are intimidating as fuck, because, I mean, you are, genuinely. And I think we need that. If someone carries a curse around with them, it's me. And yeah, I've decided to saddle you guys with that. That wasn't a small decision. There's a reason I've been traveling only with Rag in the past 2 years. But goddammit, we're doing so much good. You see that as well. I know you do.
Fine. I wasn't gonna say anything, but why the hell not in this matter? If anything happens, and should I ever go back into my transformation, I've given the Cathar here a chance to be the one to kill me. And
I
if any of
told you
stop
how
it,
that'll go down.
You say that, but when the moment actually happens, it's different. It's hard to explain my life. I used to have that control, but considering it's been a long time, it's a little on edge now and then, but can't be dealing with stuff like this. Further we get into it, Amrita kind of looks a little over at Lorelei and is like, and you are just as big a hypocrite as me. Out trying to gallivant in the night, seeing a beast, and then trusting that, I don't even know his name. Hell, I don't care. Fucking can't trust anybody in any of these towns hardly anymore. There's always somebody out for something. Yond was, and who's to say that that farmer man is not?
Sorry, okay? Sorry. I fucked up. But I had to see. I had to see if he knew anything. Any information that I needed. That's why I went out there. And the reason I didn't take any of you with me is because I don't want any of you getting hurt.
We keep coming back to that point. Some of us are gonna get hurt, whether we're with each other or not. That's just the way of the world. We'll try to protect each other when we can, but we always put ourselves first. I think we're stronger with each other than apart. Someone taught me that just a second ago. And I want to rid Silburn of whatever this is. I want to chase your four-fingered freak. I want to get justice for every injustice in your life. I want to get Asuriel's memories back. Try and get her life back. And we can do that with each other. I know we can. And if we die,
tell me to leave?
And we'll hunt you down and bring you back to the group where you belong.
Just don't leave.
That wasn't me, Lorelei. And you cannot believe that. That's fine. I know I'm telling the truth. But that was something. And that something might not have been wrong.
What scares me the most is I think you were right. I think there is something wrong with me.
I think there's something wrong with everyone.
I'm gonna ask you again. I asked it a long time ago, but are you even the real Lorelei still? You know what I mean. why I keep asking that.
Okay, I don't know anymore. I still think the real Lorelei died with the rest of my family. What you're seeing now is just a husk.
You know the perfect thing about a husk. It can grow into anything you want. I see only opportunity here, Lorelei. Whatever was speaking might have been right. It might have even been partly me. But let's use it. Try and get ahead of it. Try to understand what it is. Try to help. That's what we want. That's what you do all the time. Try to accept it for once.
When we were leaving, that guy grabbed my arm and he said something. Something about a squirming devil. I should be careful. Something about dreams. I think I might be possessed by something.
Amrita
Oh.
shuffles back, getting the distance, and there's like a look of brief horror on her face, and just like, I fear it's happening again. First you were such a wounded man. There's a high chance then that you're not even. What even are you then? Or you know what? You know why? You want to know why, Cillian? Why I think this is cursed? I'll tell you why it all started. All fucking started with the other people I traveled a long time ago. You want to know something, Lorelei? That you didn't know before about our dear friend William? He killed a man purposely, right in front of all of us. Me and this other Cathar, we tried to stop him, but he... I'll be damned, he just let it happen. He just killed him right then and there. And that person came back. And they tried to kill him. But because he did not die, that other person that tried to assist, the one that died, paid the price. And now that's what I'm afraid is happening here now. So if you and I continue to travel with these people, Cillian, Acrio, and Asuriel, either you will, one of us will die because of what our past people have done in another incident, as you know. There, happy? Maybe that's why I wanted to help William in the end. It doesn't matter now. But I'm just telling the rest of you to be warned that the longer you travel with the two of us, I fear someone amongst us will die, because it's happened before.
Oh, I've been ready to die a long time ago, Amrita.
It's just the way.
I think I know what Val was getting at just a couple hours before.
Oh, we're not bringing that lad with us. No. That's just one more burden to put on this group.
No, I think we have to. Cillian pointed out that prophecy that Elder Want gave us with the bird of clipped wing, it fits. It's gotta mean something.
Who will be responsible for him if he dies?
I
Mate.
will. I understand that you all want to curl up and die in a hole by yourself away from everybody. But I am trying my best to make it work. I am missing an arm and I am okay with that because it is my job to keep going. I understand that things follow you that you don't want to follow you. But god damn it, we're a fucking party. And in this world where a lot of people don't want to put things back together, you are some of the very few people that do want to put the world back together in its shattered form. You may not be the best people. You may not be the brightest and shiniest Cathar known to humankind. But at the very least, you have good in your hearts. And I know that, and I can appreciate that, and I don't care what is doing to try and kill you or us because of what you've done in your past. But we'll accept that for what it is. and we'll move on and deal with it when it comes, as Cillian said.
You don't get it. I'm not a good person. You think I am, but I'm not. I'm horrible.
And when you do something horrible in my presence, we'll discuss it then. But what you've done in the past, I don't care. Because right now, you're a good person. And that's
the reason I went to go
Lorelei
talk
know.
to Cooper is because I was looking for the necromancer. Killed my family. I'm looking for him. And Lorelei will whip out her journal and turn to the many, many viscerally detailed torture plans and pages that she has, and she just holds it up and just flips through them. And there's like diagrams of bodies, there's like manic writing over and over. I told you I'm not a good person. Because this is what my life is going to become. This is where I'm going.
You said it yourself, Lorelei. You're a husk. Filled with thoughts that aren't yours. And it's gonna take a lot. But if we haven't shown that we're willing to try, we aren't defined by thoughts or intentions, we're defined by actions. What we do. And what I've seen you do is help all the time. You're right to be angry. You're right to carve. You're right to think these things. I've thought them. But I won't do them. Because somewhere in this crazy, chaotic fucking world I've found peace. Peace with death. Peace with oblivion. And I know there's peace for you out there too.
Can you all stop me if I try and do it?
Yeah,
We'll
of
take
course.
care of people alive.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm crying now.
Seriously gonna edge a little closer and give her a hug.
I just hug her so real.
Plus, you're traveling with me. I'm like the most amazing person. It can be worse for you.
Yeah, you could be in traveling with Amrita. Wait a second.
Wait, shut up. I just turn and look at Amrita.
Amrita says nothing but sighs. That's something that's been taken care of, it seems. We should head back quickly. The rest of you can get in town, but I'm gonna go straight to the Brath and bury this body.
What has this entire conversation been about, Amrita? You're gonna help, you fucking idiot.
I understand that, but now there's two people that know what I can do, and I'm not
And
really
I
sure.
trust them to not give away your secret. You will be with me, and the Cathars will not touch you.
Yeah, you guys,
Plus, one of the
you
people
saved
that
them.
knows is literally incapable of talking, so...
Still right.
Plus, we saved them. Well, you saved them. And maybe they'll think you're nice.
Even Deadeye, you heard the comment that he said. It doesn't matter if someone is a person still with capabilities such as mine, because in the end, and she finds herself looking over at Lorelei, there's always going to be a mistake or failure that haunts them along the way, or they're always judged, or in the end they just can't get rid of certain thoughts, I guess. But we need to just please get this body buried. It's the least we could do.
We'll get the body buried.
Hey, the rain. I want to get somewhere dry. Quick.
And I'll put my helmet back on and give everybody a pat on the shoulder. we're in this together, I hope you all know. We've got a town to fix. Let's go fix the town.
Let's go.
With most, if not all, of the various curses and lingering traumas laid bare, the party is able to reflect on this as you make your way back to Silburn, well past midnight.
That was awesome, guys. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Say everybody gets inspiration for
I
that.
need to clean my glasses. I'm fucking.
I'll let inspiration even overflow to Val because there was so much of it there. But yeah, as you make your way through the city, very few people up at this hour. You do see a few Cathars posted on street corners, just lazily leaning against walls with their weapons, half asleep, eyeballing you as you move through the city with what is very obviously a body over your shoulder, but none of them seem to stop you, if they even care. However, as you approach the graph on the north end of town, the first thing you see is a beacon of Avacyn, symbol glowing in the night, and you can see the figure holding it, the priestess, and the one-armed, white-haired Vistani nearby her. They both seem to be staring into the graph rather ominously.
Something going on
Hi.
here?
Well, buddy, everything all right?
Kind of flinches at the sudden voice of the others before eventually turning around. You could see that he's dirty, like he has been doing some digging before eventually kind of looking at everybody, and he seems tense and concerned.
The priestess,
Pointing.
will turn to everyone as well. There is something in the graph. Val here, the Vistani, he recognized something was wrong. We're not sure what. It's under the ground.
Is it undead?
Possibly.
Any magic to check?
I'm not sure what to check for at this moment. Right now, we're just making sure nothing gets out of the graph.
I nudge Acrio. That thing I gave you. It can heighten senses. Might be worth it.
Wait, you gave me a potion?
The blue aloe herbal thing that I gave you.
Blue aloe.
Dang, don't give that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
my character.
blue aloe. It's basically Paladin's divine sense.
Oh yeah, why didn't I write that down? I thought I did.
I can post it for you if you want.
Yeah. Please post it.
Yeah.
This is why we have each other to remind us of the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I'm usually real good about writing things down.
I mean, I guess behind
Okay.
total cover would rule it out, but it's something to keep in mind.
Priestess, we've never met before. My friend here has a body that needs to be taken care of before anything else.
Renford is my name. Anna Renford.
You think I could use this stone again?
Does her eye still look bad?
Mm-hmm. I mean, not
Okay.
as bad. It's gotten somewhat better, but it was really bad when she first used it.
Okay.
Or I guess that would have been the second time she's used it.
Hold off on it now. Your eye is looking terrible. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's not looking good.
It does sting a little when I use it, but then it's fine.
It's hardly fine. Something
hold
very
off on
wrong
it.
with that stone.
Hold on.
We'll figure
Hold
something
on.
else out.
Save it for an
Alright.
emergency.
Did I ever cast Identify on it?
You did, yes.
Oh,
you
and it just had
definitely-
the curse question mark.
Yes, basically. There was something wrong with it, as noted.
The curse is pink eye.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, there was something. I don't know what is wrong with that stone of yours, but we've used it for what we need it for. Try to hold off on messing up your eye anymore.
All right
Yes.
then.
But yes, madam, if there's any possible way of assisting trying to properly bury this person, that would be good.
I mean, we'd have
don't
to enter the
think-
graph, right?
I don't think we should do that. Tonight I can bring her, and I will not ask. I can bring her into the chapel and make preparations.
That is good enough.
Thank you.
Would you be willing to watch the graph? I'm divided. I can't. I have obligations to the town, but if you would watch for me. Valerie has
Oh, I
been
can.
a good assistant as well.
Like turns.
We can do that. Yeah. Don't see why not.
Thank you.
I really
Thank
do
you.
want to sleep, though.
Please. And she'll gesture for Amrita to follow her into the chapel.
Rita does.
Val will move up to Cillian and kind of just tug on his sleeve to get his attention before pulling out some paper again and writing. Can I keep watch with you?
Yeah, of course, man.
Kind of looks as if there is something on his mind.
We'll take first. Because you cannot wake me up once I'm asleep.
The Vistani bros will go first.
I'll go second and drag Lorelei into it. No choice
Alright.
in the matter.
Cleric bro, Vistani bros first, cleric bros second, wilderness bros third. Then?
Yeah, one was naked on the mountains and the other's a werewolf.
The other could be naked on a mountain.
That's
if
pretty
you
much the same
transformed that
thing,
way.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going when you're not on watch? Is everybody returning to the brass bell?
I guess so.
Do we have any communication spells so that when something does go fucky, we can...
I think the only communication we have is the creepy ghost walkie-talkie.
Which
Which
isn't
has a
that
range of
far.
like-
Yeah,
20
that's like the
feet.
only thing we have.
Oh,
Very loud shouting.
I mean,
going
the
to-
chapel has a bell, obviously. We ring the
Bing
bell as an
bong.
alarm. Yeah.
Is your might sleep in the chapel instead? Oh, I found
Sure.
Yeah, can we do that maybe? Like just
Sure.
nap all
Well,
in the
yeah.
chapel?
It
Chapel
will
nap?
save you some money also because you have been paying 2 gold per night.
Oh, fuck,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Per
Yeah,
room
we-
per night, so actually 4 gold per night. Which I think somebody needs to have paid. I don't know if we actually got to that. But
It's the open tab.
You said
Mm-hmm.
you take care of me, right, guys?
I just spent all my money on superhero armor, so no.
All your money and your dignity.
I mean, I think, didn't Amrita give you some gold? Yes.
I thought I
It-
gave somebody gold. I don't know who it was.
I think it was Cillian. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
how
I
much
think
it
it was
was.
Cillian, yeah.
Wasn't it eventually like transferred to Acrio because?
Oh
it was,
yeah,
like,
you're
his...
right. I think it was. Yeah.
It all ends up in
Uh,
my pocket ultimately.
The treasurer!
The tax man for the church.
But
anyway,
this is
yeah,
why
if
you
you
stay
would-
alive because you pay me.
If you would so choose, it's not comfortable. The chapel is, other than Redford's quarters, the priest's quarters, not really designed to house people, but you can find a pew or something. Val and Cillian on the first watch. What's going on with you guys?
Sounds creepy.
Val would, sitting there at first, looking at Cillian before eventually pointing at him and then pulling out the paper to write. There is something wrong.
Well, technically two. But I'll tell you about one.
Or 3, or 4.
I was trying to tell the other people just a second ago, but it just didn't come out right and didn't seem that relevant. I'm dying, Val. Pretty soon, I'm sure. Do you need specifics? Are you scared of what it is? Because I don't think you need to be. Although, with the way you looked, you scared me for a second there. This, and he kind of like gestures towards the vitiligo patterns on his face and chest, and like the few white hairs in his, and you see up close, looking in his eyes, you see that one is like slightly lighter than the other. Not very noticeably, but it is there. Have you ever heard of the sisters?
Have I ever heard of the sisters?
I think they were the daughters of my
Daughters. Thank you for knowing my backstory, Jake.
No problem. And you can make a history check to see if you have actually heard of them. So Val, you have heard there's one of the splinter groups of the Vistani subculture. You have heard the name, you're not exactly sure what their deal is. The main thing you know is that they're almost entirely a female group. Very few sons born to this group of them. It's very rare for there to be any males within that lineage, at least that anyone knows of.
Mhm.
So you know they're all women then? Well, there's quite an easy reason for that. We all die. My grandpa got to 29, 28, forgot. Well, he got the furthest out of anyone. I'm 24 now, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die in a couple of years. Which makes decisions easy. You know, there's some debate about what it is. I personally think it's just an illness passed down. Most believe it's a curse of some kind. Which is understandable, because there are many accursed things there. I just choose to believe I'm not double cursed, because that will be fucked.
Taking the parchment, he writes something in between, question mark, rot, smelled it.
It's called cloud rot. Or at least that's what people call it. Some call the lineage the vaporway. I tried to ignore it for most of my life, because as you might guess, it's sort of traumatizing to know you're gonna die young. I hope I'll make it a couple more years. I'll try to do some good with this group. You know, I wasn't really doing good because it didn't really matter to me. I just wanted to live. But I think I want to make an impact.
There is a moment of just Val not seemingly reacting. He just seems to sort of stare off before Cillian can see him pull out what looks like a door and a spinning top. His gaze seems to be drawn somewhere off to the side. And he writes, Do you want to meet my family?
Yeah, I'd love to meet your family.
He just kind of grabs Cillian and holds him to what he has been doing these past few months. Cillian would see about 30 or so holes stuck with what seems to be makeshift self-made cairns or some sort of gravestones sticking out. There does seem to be nothing in the graves, with the exception of it seems to be a small amount of earth covering something. And he stops in front of the what seems to be last two empty holes with nothing in them, kind of dropping down to his knees before first placing the spinning top in one hole and then the doll in the other, kind of just staring at them, kind of gesturing in this very powerless, defeated manner, and there is nothing in his eyes. It's just emptiness. His one eye. He kind of looks at this graveyard,
which is outside the actual graph itself, but not too far.
What were their names?
Kind of just points to the names kind of carved into the wood at the graves in front of him, which would read...
Which he can kind of like move the lantern up closer so you can actually see them.
Which reads Nico and Rosalina.
Write about them sometime. It's good to remember. Not when it hurts. Still. I guess it will always hurt, but when you feel ready, remember them. Like you're doing here. I'll remember them with you. I feel like I know them. I've met so many people like us. I can almost imagine their faces. I hope you stick around, Val.
There is this, probably you wouldn't notice it at first, but there is this sort of shudder running through Val that seems to be turning into sort of shaking before it probably becomes apparent that he is crying, kind of just sobbing.
He just comforts him, but also keeps his ears open to make sure they're still doing their job.
Which, in the time allotted, you've already started fairly late in the evening, so an hour or two is all it'll take. During that time, there doesn't appear to be any disturbances outside of the graph itself.
And he'll just fill the rest of the time with stories about his family, especially about the boys who died.
Bill just kind of listens, kind of trying to absorb as much of the stories, trying to reminisce.
At times, Rygan is like, no, it didn't happen like this. It was this way. Tries to overlay his own version of the story while you're trying to talk.
Oh, that's so great.
Eventually, Val will write something. We'll be able to meet them soon in the Great Caravan.
Which you can make a religion check real quick. Yeah, you've never heard of the phrase.
He just says,
But it's capitalized, so
yeah.
whatever that means.
I'm sure we will. Wait, I think it's time. I'll go wake up Lorelei and Acrio.
In the meantime, Lorelei,
Oh fuck.
the bite that feral vampire had given you in the caverns where the witches had claimed their space has been itching every night. One of the lingering effects of being drained of blood is a sapping of vitality and a side effect that survivors report almost like something that makes them want to go back and get bitten again. There is a
It's giving me vampire masochism.
like the way a mosquito, when it bites you, it will inject like almost an anticoagulant into your blood that most people actually have an allergic reaction to, and that's why you get the itchy spot. There's something, some people think it's a curse transference, some people think it's something in their actual saliva, but it affects the victim, those who survive, and one of the most lingering effects are dreams. And your dreams have never been particularly pleasant, but since being bitten, there has been a visceral component to it, more blood imagery. Your dreams are more filled with sensation, like a sensualism to them, bordering on erotic.
I contract
Which is-
vampire masochism. No.
What did I come back to?
It's been very disconcerting and difficult to sleep because you wake up feeling bad is the best way. Yeah, a little messed up.
Oh.
It's not actually quite as bad though in the church when you finally do nod off. Could you describe what you imagine one of her recent dreams has been like?
A lot of her dreams tend to go back to Isabella's manor, so I imagine if there's a lot of blood imagery, she probably goes back to there, and it's just like her running through the hallways and like doors falling open and her just like seeing like all sorts of horrific things and like people like running out of corridors and like bashing into her and her like having like encounters like with these people as she's running, and then like eventually the corridor just like ends and then she's like cornered by just like and surrounded by this mess.
And in this desperate corridor with these hands grasping for you, almost clawing and pawing at you, pulling at your cloak, you start to hear not quite a screech, but like a high-pitched whine almost that then drifts into a stringed melody.
Don't you fucking... I knew you were doing that! You fucker! Well, her instinct is to run to it.
You don't even have to. As you spin in the dream, you are confronted with the deep blood red visage of Lars.
Laurie? What are you doing here? You're not dead, are you? You're not dead. You can't be dead. Not yet. Say something. You're not dead, are you? Can't be yet. I don't want to die for nothing.
What the fuck? That's what she's saying. It's just, what the fuck? No, this isn't real. This isn't real. This is not real. This is my imagination. This can't be how this has ended. No, this can't be right. No.
Just tell me you're okay. Please, I know this is a lot, but tell me you're okay.
I'm fine. Are you really here?
I don't know. I think so. Things are and aren't.
You're supposed to be resting. Why are you here?
Oh, I haven't been resting for a bit. I've seen a lot. There are a lot of things there, Laurie, and I think a lot of things are trying to. I don't know. I've been here, and I've been hoping. Well, not. You aren't dead, are you?
No, I'm fine. I'm dreaming, I think.
Dreaming?
Unless I died in my sleep.
Let's hope that's not the case. Wait, I've been practicing something. First I want to say I miss you. And I miss sitting on the cart with my head on your shoulder, and I've been thinking about you a lot. And wait, just listen, and I'll play a melody, my violin.
Which, again, is like his whole appearance is geist-like, but also almost like this red mist. And the violin is in the same fashion, but the tune is familiar, but not one that you've ever heard him play before.
It's wonderful.
I finished.
Thank you. What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Thought you might know.
Well, I don't know a lot of things. Most of the time it's darkness or things like this, which is not pleasant. Can you try to stop having nightmares, please? I'm not having a good time.
I can't control them.
Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd offer.
Are you stuck in my head?
I don't know.
Oh no, have I trapped you in my brain? I've trapped you.
Not much I can do from here, but I'll try to figure something out, yeah? Something you can do. Maybe?
Okay.
There are a lot of fucked up things here, Laurie.
I know.
Think you know.
I know. Believe me, I know.
It's good to see you, though.
It's good to see you too. Fucked up situation, but I'm glad to see you.
How's it going? What are you doing? Are you still traveling with Amrita? And with Repellum?
Yeah. No, Repellum left, but he's fine. I think it's Repellum. We know he's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine.
William left. He's gone somewhere else. He's fine though, I'm sure. But it's just me, Amrita. There's Acrio. There's Asuriel. There's Cillian, and there's this new guy, Val. He's very quiet, but they said they'd take care of me. So
really?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm sorry I couldn't.
Don't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Really?
Yeah. It's fine.
Okay.
And with that, you're shaken awake to Cillian's face.
Your turn, bitch. So you look like you had a very bad dream.
Everyone in the chapel suddenly wakes up to Lorelei and her outburst.
She like backs up to a wall.
Whatever it wasn't real, okay?
Don't say that. I hope it was. In a fucked up way. Anyway, let's go. Watching time. So good. So in control. Yep.
And your HP max is returned to normal. Returned to normal.
I'm gonna kill both of you. Everyone you love.
This was fucking planned. I know.
To fucking conspired
lovely.
behind my back to do this, I'm gonna throttle both of you.
Look, they're not only matching shirts today, but they're laughing for the occasion. Like,
Yeah, they color coordinated.
This was off the cuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is what you
This
needed
happened.
sign
This
last
is
time.
all improv.
I am going to commit really bad crimes if ever I meet you in person.
Just
Loki,
scratch out the necromancer's name and put fucking Jake and Stein.
Yeah, Lorelei's
Eventually.
like, I got this name of this person I just need to kill.
It's worse than the necromancer. I don't even know
It's
who
worse,
this is.
so much worse. It's two people that have
Robin.
conspired against me.
Robin, how does it feel?
I want to vomit. I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, let's
Okay.
go for a watch.
Are you in the right mindset to do a watch? You look a little...
Yes. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm great. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay,
I'm
'cause-
fine. I'm fine.
You're up here. I need you to take it down here. Whatever you saw, put a pin in it. We'll deal with it later.
It's not anything.
Perfect.
It's just one of those dreams that just gets your heart racing. I'm fine.
Because I need you a little grounded to reality right now.
Good. I'm good.
Alright.
I'm good.
When we get outside to the graft, is it still raining?
It's it's actually let up some. I think the main thunderstorm part of it has passed. It's still a light drizzle, but the heaviest torment has passed over the mountains.
Ooh, and Acro's armor is gonna rust a lot now because it's not magical.
Yeah, you need to do something about that eventually.
Yeah. As much as everything was great, we gotta talk about what's going on with this town. And you seem to assemble the details the best. What we have right now is something in the graph. They're giving an unnatural amount of beef to the bandits and corn, and none of them have grown fat. That rules out everything except the dairy products. You said that the people at the farm looked healthy and strong, right? And they
Yeah.
have cathars that are built like fucking shipwreck houses compared to normal Stensians. So, my only conclusion right now is the people they're giving up on the road are outsiders. That's why they're not touching people in town. They're doing something to them somewhere. Those people are going missing. I gotta say, maybe they're turning them into livestock.
When we first came here, I met Cooper's son. He doesn't talk, but he was drawing something on the window, and I went to go talk to him because I just thought, I'll strike up a conversation with a local. And he drew like a person, like a really like a wide person, and then he drew a cow's head on them, and he like pointed at me and then laughed. So I think he knows something. He knows what's going on. Problem is, we can't get that out of him. His father's pretty protective, and of course he doesn't talk.
Casper's gotta be in on this. I don't want to accuse Cathar, but he's got... of all the Cathars being fat and lazy, he's got 2 guards that look like they could pick me up and break me in half. So, I don't know who's been making deals with the band. They didn't tell us who they were talking to do the trade-off with the people, right?
The only person they've ever contacted, according to Deadeye, assuming he was telling the truth, is the four-fingered Fabian.
Got it. I think we've got to do some stalking, follow some people around, see what the fuck they're doing behind closed doors.
Like who? Casper?
Casper, the rancher. We got to find the source of all this dairy product and beef, because I highly doubt that they're just getting real lucky with produce.
After what I saw in that field, there's something. I wonder if there's something they've made some kind of deal with. I don't know. Now there's something under the graph. There's a lot.
Biggest recommendation, we just don't eat anything dairy. They try and put cheese on everything. We go to the store, we get rations. Now I'm not feeling too good about beef either, because I really don't want to be eating people, if my theory is correct.
But we can't starve. That's the thing.
Then survive off the rations that we brought here.
I don't have much. Maybe I could go with Amrita, see if we can't forage for something out in the wild.
I did get the deer meat. Might be able to make rations out of that.
It's horse, but yes.
Horse, sorry.
Horse
Brain
deer.
fart. Even bigger than a deer.
Yeah, so we have that.
Turn it into rations, see if we can try it in some jerky. Whatever the case, we gotta finish this quick. So, I don't know who's stealthiest here, but...
Cillian?
Yeah. So we sick Cillian on...
That was a very dumb question, Acrio. You know who the stealthiest person is here.
I don't know who the second stealthiest person is, because I kind of want to have somebody follow both of them at the same time.
It's probably Amrita.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's probably Amrita, but I feel like she wouldn't want to go anywhere on a mission that Cillian's going on.
No. Send Cillian again, follow one guy, Amrita follow the other.
I could always try the front way approach. I mean, I met with Cooper. I could try and play distraction, keep him occupied.
I can try and distract the rancher, and you get Cooper, talk to him. I'll try
Cooper's
and pull
the
the rancher away. Oh,
As you're saying this, there's a
Casper?
sound from the graph that same thing Val had heard, though he could not describe it. It's like it's like a vacuum, but not a vacuum cleaner, but like a vacuum within the mud that then, there's air being sucked through the ground.
Oh, like when you pull your boot out of quicksand and it's like...
Pretty much, yeah. It's that
Gross.
sucking sound, like something being pulled through mud, and whatever light you guys probably, Acrio's lantern. Yeah, you start to see there's this, again, the earth mounds up, and there's movement under the ground as something is burrowing. Doesn't seem to be outside or toward the edges of the graph, however.
Thing eating the goddamn bodies underground?
I'm gonna cast Eyes of the Grave just to see if it flags up anything undead to me.
Mm-hmm. It does not. The graph seems quiet. No corporeal undead or roving geists.
I don't see any undead.
I will cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay.
You do have that blue arrow that I gave you, remember?
It doesn't pierce the ground.
I mean, is it not coming up a little bit? Or no? It can penetrate barriers. Okay, fair enough. You got
Yeah. And it should just be dirt below me, not stone.
Hit your butt.
It is only 30 feet, so you will probably have to get... Are you gonna make your way into the graph?
I will give Lorelei my lantern, and I will take out my hammer, shield, and slowly approach to see if I can kind of mind sweep for this creature.
You see the ground kind of heave again, and then it depresses. Slowly make your way that direction. Can I have you make a stealth check on top of that?
Yep.
Yep, you're not the most quiet, heavy boots on this muddy grass that has grown over the graph. None of that type of thing is detected, which leads you to believe there's some kind of animal or monstrosity is what you can kind of narrow it down to.
And then as soon as I get within 30 feet of whatever this is, I immediately back off.
Can I have you make a perception check as well?
Yes. It's very odd that it specifies fiend and not devils.
Well, fiend encapsulates devils.
Yeah, fiends are.
Yeah, fiend is demons and devils.
And Yugoloths as well.
Oh, yeah.
Though
Okay.
Yugoloths are not a thing in this setting, but
Technically.
yeah, fiend is an overarching
Yeah.
category.
15.
You can see where the ground has been disturbed the most does seem to be near the gravestones. The theory that something might be consuming corpses is not potentially far off. There is something interesting, though. You can see where the ground has kind of made a motion around. Almost, it looks like these giant mole tracks in the mud have kind of gone around a certain grave in kind of this horseshoe shape, which seems weird.
So it's avoiding one grave.
It has not gone to, is the best you could say. You're not sure exactly why, but...
Lorelei, can you flash the lantern on that grave right there?
And lantern towards.
Can I see what it says from here?
You can read the name Heather Hillcrest.
I can't remember which one he said died. Was it his daughter or his wife?
It was the daughter
his
who
daughter.
died.
The daughter. That was it.
All right, we've got some hunting to do, and I back out of the graph. Okay, so I think that narrows it down. I think we have a rancher to hunt. Where that
Looks to
beast
him, doesn't it?
does not look good for him.
The dairy is the one that's making everyone act up. He's the one that, makes it.
He controls all the ranchers, so makes sense. We'll talk to everybody in the morning, but I'm gonna patrol around the outside to see if if I can sense it leaving the graph to go somewhere else.
Sure.
And I'll
For the
stay
remainder
within-
of your watch, it does not appear to. There's not really any more movement anywhere within or without during the rest of the time that you observe.
When time is up, I will wake up Asuriel and Amrita, or Val, or whoever. Val
Val
gets
already
2
went.
watches. Yeah,
No.
That's
Yeah.
his hazing.
yeah.
Yeah, you would.
To join our
find-
group, you have to do 2 watches.
you would
Does
find
does
Rita
he
meditating.
when he turns in? Does he stay at the graph with everyone else in the chapel, or does he head back to the doctor's place where he's been making his rooms?
Yeah, he would, unless anybody stops him, he would head back to the doctor.
Yep,
We
she
shambling
gets up.
over to the gravestones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right when they get out there and the others have gone to bed and Asuriel's off to one side and Rita will sort of go and I imagine she just kind of sort of focuses, does as she does when hunting, but
So she's more like
looking around.
researching the area.
Yeah, she traces her hands through the dirt, even though the rain probably still doesn't help it, and it's blocking out a lot of senses, but
There
she
is
still
actually
tries.
something when you do that, especially, well, specifically in the place you had seen where it kind of had erupted, and Valerie had seen these worm-like things coming out of the ground. As you run your gloved hand through it, you start to see, even in the darkness, this viscous, almost like a mucus that's in the mud. And you can make a nature check if you would like.
Cyril will give her some guidance on whatever she's trying to do.
And you do have advantage on this due to another thing. You smell it. It's got this weird, acidic, almost kind of an acrid smell to it. It's very thin and watered down now. You have to take off one of your gloves and touch it to your skin almost instinctively. You feel this numbing sensation. And you're trying to search your memory banks, trying to remember if you recall anything about this from your training with your mentor Garrick, but oddly, the memories you have in relation to this are your father's voice, Creighton. And you remember a creature that he described, sometimes called a carrion crawler, also known as a graph worm, things that eat recently deceased bodies, and their feelers have this mucus that you know causes paralysis on living victims.
Oh shit. She's gonna quickly look around the yard and everything and push like Asuriel back, like, see, do you see anything?
No, not really. What's wrong?
I've learned about this before. It's some kind of worm. It eats bodies, but it can also paralyze people that are alive. And she quickly looks around, even though it's late in the night, just seeing if there's any movement or something might be nearby after probably touching it with her right hand, and just puts the glove back on.
Make a perception check or investigation, your preference.
I got some guidance on that again.
I'm gonna do investigation because it's higher.
You don't see any particular movement. You think perhaps these things have been satiated for the night, gotten their fill, but that is the thing you notice. The tracks don't seem to be a singular. There is definitely more than one.
This is not good at all. This poses a problem. We gotta watch the body that we delivered at the chapel especially, but I can't gauge how many there are, but if they are around eating corpses and as well as paralyzing people that are alive, this is very bad.
Yeah, sounds pretty bad. Really should make sure they don't leave here. We'll be able to tell the priestess in the morning, though.
Yes, but for now, let's sit right over here where there's not any of that stuff or mucus for our own safety. Keep a lookout and listen.
Alright. Sit outside the graph and look at it.
As the horizon starts to illuminate over the mountains of the eastern Gaia Reach, the clouds are thinner, and this pervasive rainstorm starts to die down. Everything is drenched, and you still can't quite see the sun, but you know where it's rising. You can kind of see its outline almost behind the clouds, more than you'd think the vampires would even wish to allow. There's this misty fog that starts to form as the morning becomes warmer and warmer, with almost this muggy heat. And that's where we're going to end this week's session.
And what a session it was.
Yeah, boy.